InfoCaster software suite is part of the Harris digital signage solution that effectively creates, manages, and delivers the highest quality content to the right place at the right time within out-of-home and captive networks. InfoCaster is versatile and robust, so it can easily be utilized in practically any digital signage application and market. The InfoCaster creation system is used to design and schedule content into unlimited multi-region screen layouts. The creation software suite utilizes a fully integrated intuitive interface that offers drag and drop, what you see is what you get functionality in the actual screen resolution and orientation. The InfoCaster Network Manager is used to remotely distribute content and manage players from one central location or multiple locations via TCP/IP, satellite, wide area network, or local area network. Network Manager sends instructions to players and the players pull non-automated content. InfoCaster Player pulls content as instructed by the Network Manager. The content then plays locally from the player machine for best performance and quality. The player also automates content creation by connecting to data sources and then creating updated content locally in broadcast quality. The InfoCaster creation system is a what you see is what you get point and click drag and drop interface. As you can see here, I have my design window for my screen layout, and I'm designing in the actual resolution that the screen is going to be output in. So if you see the measurement bar here at the top and the side, I'm at 1280 by 768. Over on the left hand side of the screen, we see the different region controls. There's stills, crawls, rolls, broadcast quality animations, digital clocks, video, which is live video and video clips, analog clocks. We have an analog meter that's used for casino and other applications, audio only regions, a port option for connecting to specialized data sources and other specialized applications. And we also have a temperature probe option as well. So to start, I'm going to create a background by clicking on the still region control and just dragging and dropping a region. It defaults to a name, but what I'm going to do is add a special name to it and call it background, and that changes automatically. Also note on the left hand side of the screen where you see it's automatically being built for the regions and the sequences automatically. Now when you double click on a region, it will automatically create a library that you can put content into, and on the right hand side of that region it automatically creates a schedule that you can schedule the content into. So to add items into the library, there's different tools available. We have quick editors here as well as a broadcast quality character generator called Title Motion. We also have a graphic importer and then a web viewer quick editor where it can go and pull a website image. So we're going to go to the graphic importer for this case, and I'm going to go browse for that image. And because of the broadcast heritage that we have, we can bring in any kind of standard graphic format plus proprietary ones such as Photoshop and even Quantel formats. I can see a preview of what that image is going to look like here and even the resolution of that image. Note that we do not have to have a specific size or resolution. We can scale to fit or maintain aspect ratio as well with that image. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now once a piece of content is brought into the library and then brought into a sequence, you can then set the controls for what days of the week that it will play on, play between certain times, and do not play before or after certain dates. A duration and also a transition can be set for each element, or you can just select the whole sequence and have that default for the whole sequence. Now when I go back in the upper left hand corner and click on the page name, I now see a preview of the background, and now I can overlay other regions and put more content in. So we're going to create a still add region on the right. So I'm just going to draw another region on top. I'm also going to rename that. Automatically changes it. And while we're here, let's go ahead and add some other regions. I'm also going to add a crawl region here on the bottom, where I'm going to put a news feed. And then I also want to put a video region. Note here that I can make it exactly the size that I want. I can also come over here and dial in a specific resolution for the width and height should I choose to do so. I also want to add a digital clock. Great, so we'll start with a digital clock. I just double click on that region, it brings it to its library, and we'll add an item through the digital clock quick editor. If you also notice, it only brings up the tools necessary for that particular type of region. Now with digital clocks we can do 12 and 24-hour clocks, and you have different settings here where you can turn on or off different things and make it look different ways. You can even change the font and the size. What we'll do is we'll do that right now. We'll just go ahead and change the sizing, colors, just a couple different things. You can also color match if you wish, or use different color models. Turn off the seconds and then save. The same settings apply here, but what happens is by default everything is brought in and will just automatically play and repeat. Going back to the main page, and I'll see my elements are being populated. We'll go into the still ads. I'm going to use the graphic importer again for ads that have been generated. I can also turn on my thumbnail view so I can see as well by file type or name. Now I can select one ad here and bring it in individually, or I can batch import by selecting multiple ones and just simply saying open. So it will ask me what to do with the batch. Am I going to scale and maintain aspect ratio or not? I can check or uncheck those as I need, and that will apply to all of them. So I'll go ahead and save those in. And so here again I can set individual attributes for each piece of content, or just set one for the whole sequence. So also note here in the type of transitions that we have regular transitions as well as the 3D type transitions that can be done as well. So I'll set a default duration of 5 seconds with a cube 3 effect. Go back here. Now let's go and add a crawl. Now with the crawl editor you can add different kinds of pieces of content into the crawl and multiple types of crawls. So I can either put something in manually by just taking that and typing something in. If you notice here I can also add graphics, animations, and even video clips into that region, which is a crawl. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to tie this to an external source, because we have data sources, data feeds, RSS, XML, or even text files that can be brought in. You can do something from scratch or pick something that you had already set up before. And then it populates here. As you can see, I have an AP entertainment feed where I have headlines and a storyline. Those are represented in the different columns. F1 over here is the record locator. So because it's a crawl, I just have one text field. So I'm going to take the one with just the headlines. And these are default settings for how often it pings the server and what to happen if there's a disconnect with the data. Now that I have some sample text, I can modify that text, format that text, make it any kind of font, size, or color that I want. Just going to make it black. Also, if we go back to the content area here, I can add other items in here, such as the graphic, for example. Again, all the same attributes apply. If you notice here, this is a pretty large graphic. What will happen is if you use a still image, it will actually squeeze it down to the actual size of the crawl area. Can also add animation elements. And then once I have the items in here that I wish, I can then place the items just by dragging them where I want them to be. I could add more crawls here with different other pieces of information in the same space, but we're going to continue with other regions. So right here I have a video region I'm going to add content into. I'm going to use the video clip quick editor. We also handle the similar still files: MPEG 1, 2, and 4, Windows Media, Windows AVI, Apple MOV, and also the HD versions of Apple, which is H.264, and Windows Media HD. Again, you can either take one or several clips and bring them in. Once you bring one in, you can position it into the region. As you can see, because of the design, the clip is actually a little bit different size in the region. I can let it play that way, and where you see the checkerboard, that will be transparent. I can also scale it and have it squeeze exactly pixel to pixel according to my design. So as you can see here, I have video, and it can be scheduled the same kind of way. The only difference is you do not have a duration because it's going by the actual video itself. Now let's have a look at the output. Now that we have our own design created, it's time to send it to Network Manager. To do that, simply go to the File menu and Publish, select the appropriate server, and hit Send. While that's doing that, Network Manager is now brought up. As you can see, once it's published, it shows up in the list of published InfoCasts. And from here you can select a single player, or groups of players, or even all players who already have this InfoCast, and then select exactly when you want it to send the update, which is a date and time, or immediately as the default. You can also start playing back once it is delivered, either immediately or at a certain time and date. Next is the InfoCast settings itself. All the regions that you create here are now visible here, and that what you can do with it is set particular settings administratively for permissions of sequences and the content library here, and also manage your external data and logging here. Actual Players tab will show you the players that are attached to the network. Here's where you can start and stop playback, even delete the InfoCasts that are on the machine, also relaunch and reboot the players. This will actually monitor multiple players, and you can get a snapshot of what's going on there every so many minutes. The status area of Network Manager shows the errors, warnings, and successes of different events that you can set, and it can either log them, or you can also send out an email as well for the success or the failure of any of these items. Network Manager can also manage the player updates for their software, where you can select out of the list, because you may have different player groups that have different player versions, and you can manage that simply by selecting the appropriate upgrade and then selecting the player that you want it to go to. Here's where you can also manage the versions of software for your different network players. InfoCaster Network Manager can also look at the logs that are generated from the players and can collect them automatically. From here you actually see the raw log of when content played on what page, and in what InfoCast, and in what region, including log notes. Also has a built-in query engine where you can select the events that were actually logged. So in this case we'll take the Ray-Ban ad that was on that particular player, and you can set a range of dates and times to view the report. And it will also give you a player detail. Now if you had multiple items, you can actually pull the different items that were logged. As you see here, I have multiple events, and then the same date and time range if you wish. Even save the query in case you run monthly reports. You can just pull it up by that query. And then viewing the report, including player details. So you can see it splits up the individual items at the top and gives you running detail at the bottom.